Good morning, Dylan, GM. Good morning, sir. How are we doing on your commute? Profit, my guy. Good morning. And my friend Jason. What's up, sir?
Am I
Hmm.
even on the
I was
stage?
gonna say, are we still not on uh-oh. That seems like something I might have. There we go.
There we go. Good morning. Good
Wonder
morning.
why wonder why it stayed like that. That was weird.
I don't know. Looks like you're in charge today. You're driving.
Always in charge. All right. What's up, everybody? How we doing? How are we doing? I'm trying. I'm in a weird full screen right now. How do I get out of here? On the laptop, y'all, it's Friday. When I'm in the garage, I'm in the laptop. The back end is not as easy for me. This commute has saved my life. Whoa.
Do
All
tell,
right.
Dylan. Do tell.
Yeah. More info. I mean, you're driving. So, commenting while driving probably shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, we would love to know more information on that. Brofit, I think, is on his morning walk. You can comment while walking. That's okay. 2 hours a day, lots of time to grow. Oh, yep, gotcha. Same. I remember that. I need to get back to that actually. It's something that I wanted to talk about. It was brought to my attention yesterday. Had a guy's lunch, pizza and beers with a couple of dudes, and somehow some way we got to the point of showing each other our screen time, and I was the highest performer, aka the loser, in the conversation. My average for this last week was 11 plus hours a day. I think
Holy
the other guy had 8 and the other guy had 5 or 6.
11 hours. What, without going into specifics, what consists of most of those 11 hours on your phone?
So I think it's Netflix is what I'm getting at. And I used to take those 2-hour commutes and those 2 hours at the end of the day, and put a Audible on or some podcasts, and like Dylan said, grow and learn. And then lately it's just been Netflix. And I'll take.
That you're watching on the road in your Tesla. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'll let that pass as screen time. I'm also concerned about you watching TV on the road, Don.
Yeah, of course. I understand. I get that is not a good thing. But it's, and then there's also a part of that where, like, if I was doing an audible, like that's not technically screen time. So I don't know if that factors in one way or another. Like, I remember one of the times when I checked my screen time, it was like some ungodly number, like 16, 17 hours. But it's because they count things like, I I play my meditation music app for the 8 hours that I sleep, and
Mhm.
it was like somehow that was counted in there, and I'm like, "Well, that's not really screen time, I'm asleep, my phone is just running." It's more like the runtime of your phone. Um, so I don't know how that thing calculates. I need to look more into it because I don't think I'm on the thing for 11 hours, but
That would be your entire awake time during the day, pretty much. So, I think that's false.
well, I mean, like, for instance, right now, like, I'm awake at 5, so we're doing 30 minutes where my phone's here. Um, so 5 to 5 is 12 hours. So it's a little more than or a little less than my entire awake time, but yes. I am on my screen for the most part every hour of my awake time, from like a 5 a.m. to an 8 p.m., but I'm not like on it for the entire hour. Like, the phone goes in the pocket. I do whatever it is that I need to do. I think it's just a matter of, like, if you're playing stuff. Like for instance, like I watch like on the weekends, I put on Netflix and I cook and eat my dinner. Like, am I like staring at the screen, like doing something in that instance? I'm like like I'm mixing.
Yeah, I think
Casey.
that's totally acceptable, and I would not count that towards your 11 hours for sure.
But the phone does, is what I'm saying. So
But
it's
the
kind of
phone
like, yeah, it's
does.
kind of like a mix.
I mean, the phone has like a face reader. I feel like
It should
if
adjust.
you're gonna take our physical identity, at the very least, measure screen time by how much where our
How
face is
close and where your face is. Yeah.
looking at the screen, you know? Like, give us something,
Yeah. Like for instance,
I mean,
when BroFit does
for
it,
our entire being.
yeah, for instance, when BroFit does his workouts of the day, right? He puts his screen on and then he jumps back like 10 feet and starts working out for an hour to 2 hours and talking through a microphone. Should that shouldn't count on his screen time? Like he's literally working out.
Yeah,
But I'm sure it does, is what I'm saying. I'm sure
yeah.
it counts as him on StreamYard for an hour and a half, and that's on his screen time. Good morning, K Save. K Save. I'm guessing card fishing. Is that mean that you're in New York at Comic Con? Because I know K Save is there. Um, I did see uh, well, I'm sorry, I take this back. I saw a person in a photo that looked very much like our beloved friend and brother, Ryan Turner. I commented, he does exist. And then I was told promptly that that is not Ryan Turner. That is a gnome. So I still don't know what the hell's going on with that guy.
I think he's busy, building up our sponsorship with Habit 24,
Yeah, I know.
the premier habit building app.
I figure if I troll him enough on here, maybe I'll get him. I'll fish him. I'll fish him back. Yeah, this time counts for me when y'all are sitting in a cup holder.
Does
Yeah, see,
he
that's what I'm
does he
talking about.
even does he even listen to us in the morning, Ryan? Just give us a 1 or a 2.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Card fishing and K Save are in the car together, heading to the show, listening to us. Well, that's awesome. Thank you
That's
guys.
love it.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you
I
both.
love that. Quick note
I
on
hope you guys
screen
are having a
time.
blast. I hope you guys are having a blast, enjoying everything. And I hope you're not spending a lot of money. That's all.
Enough
But
for
send pictures,
gas.
man. That's
Enough for
fun.
gas on the way home. Interesting cell phone and kid thought I had yesterday, and I don't wanna
Mhm.
spend all today talking about this topic, but just something I noticed, our 12-year-old has a phone. We had a little moment of disagreement yesterday with an app they want that's very social media like, and we currently said no social media till 8th grade, and
Okay.
had to have a discussion on what the freedom that we've given and the freedom that we've allowed. And for the most part, disappointingly, and I have no idea if I'm managing this correctly or not, drives to practice are usually her talking with friends, texting with friends, interacting, all the teenage stuff. And I'm in this really weird stage where I'm not totally sure how to handle it positively, because part of like last year before she got this phone was like we would like talk. I mean, it was, usually just kind of quiet looking out the window, but our conversations are very few and far in between now. And on the way home, I'm thinking about just how this device changes a kid's behaviors.
Yeah.
And one of those was, depending on what time it is in the car, what time of day and where we're coming from, generally, my kids normally would have, like, passed out for a few minutes, but that's no longer the case.
Hmm.
Now there's no quick nap before we get home. It's screen time.
Yeah.
And even though we have limits, like we have limits at home, I feel like I'm not handling it the way that I intended to a few months ago when we started this. I'm kind of struggling with that. Don't have an answer. not really looking for an answer right now, but just a little connection to your little screen time story here.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Um, we Amy had some conversation with Brooklyn that I meant to bring up a couple days ago. A little roller coaster with her this week, where at the start of the week it came out that she was missing 14 assignments across
Uh-huh.
like two or three classes, and so her grades were falling. And so she basically told her, you have until Friday to double down on your homework and get those assignments done. Like not all of them, but because 14 is a lot, but a really good chunk of them, or your phone's gonna leave you for the weekend. And it's very much along the lines of like, we see you doing your homework, but when you're doing your homework, you're on your phone and you get distracted. Now, it's a different story to just have music playing in your ear and singing along and doing your homework. Like, we get that there's value in that, and that could be, because I do that sometimes at work. Like, I'll play music in my headphones and I'll work, and I get a little pumped up, and it works for me. But it's if you're then switching over to Instagram or Netflix or a game to like grind out some whatever, then you're not homework. Then you're not doing homework. And that kind of happens, pretty easily when you have this device in your hands and you get like a ping or a notification.
Hmm.
So they went back and forth a little bit and all that other stuff, but she ended up crushing it and getting a whole bunch of work done. Her teacher had mentioned like how impressed she was with what she turned in, and so she's in a better spot. Um, but yeah, it's a super tough. Like, technology is like for sure one of the toughest things that parents of our generation are having to deal with kids that
Yeah.
you know. And again, it's like, and it goes all the way to the top. Like I was just talking about. Like, as we started this conversation with, uh, I have a technology problem. So like, how do I teach my kids to fight this dragon of an addiction when like I literally have the same problem?
Yeah. That's the exact place I am right now. My screen time. Okay, this is my just my last. I don't want to talk about cell phones the whole time because I did like today's reading and it's very positive.
And we
Um,
still have 5 minutes. I'm
what
just kidding. I'm just messing around.
is my screen time's been down just because of I'm gonna blame parent teacher conferences because we finished that this week.
Yeah.
But I've rarely had to charge my phone during the day,
Mm, nice.
just at night. So just taking that little win, putting it in my back pocket or in my hat. But I want to say hi to Deepest because Deepest is back with some life level ups. We got a job. We got a girl.
Yeah.
Well done, Deepest.
Awesome.
Good job.
Happy for you, buddy.
I would love to hear a little bit about that from you at some point. Um, but and feel free to tell us in the chat here, buddy. Good to
Yeah,
see.
I know it was a rough couple months for you. Um, we've seen you popping in here, and dropping some comments. Always appreciate you coming back. But like we said in the beginning, and like but it's obviously harder to kind of tell someone this is just, yeah, you thought it wasn't going to get better, and you just had to get through it. You just had to get to the point where you're at today, or maybe where you'll be next week or next month. Like, it's coming soon. There's no rhyme or reason or way to like perfect it, you just have to move on with life in any way that you can. Even if you're crying every day and you miss her, it just gets it's like 1% easier every day, and you may have some setbacks, but eventually you'll get to this place where, like you said, you meet some other girl, you get a job that maybe takes a lot more of your time and therefore distracts you better. Yeah, just keep swimming, buddy.
Yeah, and sometimes you just happen to stumble across a couple of dudes just chit chatting about kids online, and you can let it out there. So,
Yeah. Uh,
I'm very happy that you have been with us and able to share all that with us. So I'm happy. That brings my energy level from an ocho to a nueve today.
there happen to be more fish in the sea.
There just happens.
Yes, bud. I hate to say it, but if you walk into any mall in America, you will see all the fish. They
There's
are out there.
You guys have balls still?
Shut up. Yes, my teenager, like, it's so funny, like, fast forward, 20 years or whatever, however many years I have, 20, I should know this, 25 years older than my daughter, but when I was 16, 17 years old, me and my friend used to go to the mall and just, like, walk around the mall, and fast forward to my daughter being 17, it's, like, the thing that her and friends do too. Now they have, like, a outdoor mall,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Down in
it's,
Miami, bunch of
oops,
malls.
sorry.
That's okay. Down in yeah, indoor malls, I'm sure. Yeah. That's what we used to do back in the day, which was a Tuesday, uh, was go to the mall
It's the
instead of
spot.
that's how we would text. We would go and talk to each other.
Yeah.
Or just stare across the hallway as you're leaving the Cinnabon going to
Nice.
the arcade.
Turning 19. Look at this guy.
Turn 19. Well done, man. Look at that. 3 ducks in a row. How many more can we get? That's great. Dom, let's talk about being tough today. I enjoyed this page. Less from a parent perspective. This is more from a teacher perspective of teenage age kids. Talking about when to be tough, when not to be too tough. My example today is specifically from a class that I had. This happens once in a while in classes, and it's based on teaching art and teaching techniques, and trying to connect those techniques to students' subject matter or theme of choice. Sometimes your kids might take on an activity where they are not quite comfortable doing it. They're not really sure how to do it. You're trying to teach them the basics. And at some point, they may ask you for advice on how to do it. And you have a choice to tell them exactly how to do this thing, whether it's a physical activity or homework or a house project. You can either do it for them, or you can talk it through them, or you can give them options. My example is specifically last year teaching ceramics, where I'm teaching kids how to work with clay. Clay is time sensitive. It's very fragile, like our
Mhm.
hearts. And if you mistreat it or handle it too roughly or too softly, it will boss you around and make you not feel good about yourself. So when I'm teaching kids sometimes, once in a while, do you have your phone in your pocket like Kyle did last time? Or is that me?
What?
I'm hearing a little bit of feedback there.
Oh, I was actually gonna ask, maybe it's this fan.
Oh, okay. Doing so, the question that I get sometimes is when we're doing something, let's say we are drawing and shading and working on drawing techniques. Sometimes a kid will call me over and say, "Hey, is this the way that you want me to do this?" And my answer is no, I don't want you to do it the way that I want you to. I want you to just try the technique and figure out how to use it yourself.
Ah, gotcha.
So the takeaway here is when a kid become finds an obstacle, and this could even be this could even kind of become like a topic between partners as well. Your wife, your brand new girlfriend, whoever, is sometimes there might be a challenge, and the question that I'm recently asking myself in both is, am I providing obstacles or am I the actual obstacle?
Hmm.
And with teaching is like, I don't want kids to do something to satisfy me. I want them to learn how to do something to satisfy themselves. I want them to learn how to shade or draw or sculpt or whatever so they can make whatever it is they want to make. not a checklist that satisfies me as a teacher or a parent or a husband or whatever.
Mm, interesting. So how would you like I'm thinking about that in terms of like, you know, you have a you have so many kids that come through your classroom. Only so many of them are coming into the art classroom thinking, I like art. I want to do art. Like art speaks to me. Art could be my passion. And
Correct.
then the
Very.
rest of them, or maybe even possibly the majority of them, are just like, I'm going to art because I have to go to art? Or is that different? Do you think that's different in your class?
It's more like this. Kids might like challenges, even though they might not like anything having to do with visual arts or consider themselves creative, but maybe they like a challenge. And those challenges in my studio just happen to be visual arts. So if they like a challenge, I'm not going to tell them how to do something because I want them to do it that way. I'm telling them how to do something. For example, be very specific, how to draw really good lines, thick and thin lines. We call that line character in visual arts, or shading, which we call chiaroscuro in visual arts. Those are the fancy terms, Tom.
Mm.
But I'll show them only a few ways how to do it, so they know how to handle the tool. And in another way, in another environment, it might be the gym. Like, okay, if you're doing arms, these are two ways you can do it. And I don't want you to do this to show me to satisfy me. I want you to do this. I want you to, uh, correct your posture like this so you can do other exercises better.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was my point. The one thing I circled today, which I circled it and boxed it in and starred it. We create challenges for them, but we are not the challenge. I think
Yes.
that's really important. That's my big takeaway today.
Yeah, I think that's same thing, and that combined with yesterday's reading, um, that's something to think about. Is how instead of being the challenge in their life, like creating safe challenges and being more of like their coach or their consultant to help them, through these. I'm trying to think of how to like do some of that stuff with my kids. Like I said, I feel like I'm more the challenge than creating challenges. Like I think I'm doing it, but I don't know that I'm doing it right. And in terms of like what I've been talking about with you guys, which is helping 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 them understand like the things that they need to do to be more independent, getting themselves ready, food, like the normal home skills, and then also social skills with their friends, like trying to get them to invite their friends over. So I look at that as like setting up a challenge, but I don't think I'm giving them maybe enough guidance or enough, instruction or setting the challenges for them in the right way. So that's maybe something I need to think about a little more.
Yeah, I had a harder time connecting this to my parenting. But one way that I will bring this back to our little screen time discussion is when we talk about our kids' screen time.
Mhm.
If you have a kid and you know that you can, you have like a family account, you can see what they're doing and you can check their screen time. Like our daily limit is 2 hours. And I think a small parent fail for me and Kristen is usually it's a bit over. My middle kid is actually the best. Like she ends either like 3 minutes before or after because
Mm.
she's really good at it. However, what I don't want them to do is like when I see their screen time and it's totally blown out for whatever reason, way past that 2 hours, I don't want their immediate thought to be, oh, dad's going to be disappointed. I want it to be, wow, I really spent a lot of time on my phone. That's probably not healthy.
Yeah.
I don't want them to satisfy me. I want them to realize when whatever they're doing has a negative impact on themselves.
Hmm. So, like, answer some of Rofit's questions. In my experience, and again, mine's probably different, but
I don't know if did you click on.
coaching kids, yeah, yeah. I've coached a couple of teams for both Bailey and Brooklyn, and in my experience, and again, I think this is more along the ways of my role in this household and how we treat each other. I don't think it helped. Like, I think it was like I remember on specific teams. I think it was more so Brooklyn's than Bailey's, because Bailey's was a long time ago. I don't know that I remember them as much. Um, but it was almost like a running joke on the softball team between me and this other dad, where like I would coach his daughter and he would coach mine because our daughters wouldn't listen to us.
Yeah, we
Um,
have me and the head coach on Kira's team, same exact thing. It's
yeah,
like, hey, like he'll be like, hey, can you go ask my daughter, go tell her to do this, and I'll do the same for Kira.
yep.
Yeah, that is odd. That is that's a good point, Bro Fitz.
Like, I think it's a good thing to do. Like, I highly recommend it to every parent to, like, slap on that coaching hat and do it early. It's way early, like, Profit, your kids are young still. Do it earlier than earlier? I don't know. Just do it
Yeah,
earlier,
do it early if you get
because
enough.
the sports are easier, if you're not like a huge baseball person or a softball person. Do it early because there's not as much pressure at that point. Same with soccer or any other sport. Brofit, if your kids ever get into volleyball, then you can take them all the way into high school because that's like what you know. Um, but if you're like me and you don't really have like a heavy skill in anything, sport wise, just do it. Get it out of the way early. Yeah, put your reps in, because I think every parent who's going to put their kids through sports, and every parent should put their kids in sports. It's a really good thing to do. Um, you should put reps as a coach or an assistant coach or a manager, because it's really, once you get into all those leagues, it becomes pretty apparent that like it's all volunteer based. 50% of people are being asked or begged to do it because there's so many kids in your community, and they just need, like warm bodies sometimes. And so it's the right thing to do. And there are those moments where you get like we said, there are those moments where it's tough, where your kid's like, I don't want to listen to you, you're my dad. But there are also those really good moments where something clicks in your kid's brain, like they learn something that they couldn't get before. Like for me, it was when Bailey finally learned to like catch the ball and not be afraid of the ball. And it's those moments that are like ingrained in you, where it's like it it clicked, she got it, and she was so excited. And she
Mhm.
was so excited to say, "Dad, throw me the ball, like, right at my face and, like, catch it." And those are those, like, moments that you kinda, like, live for. So, highly
Yeah.
recommend it.
Don, I'm off today, so if you're not in a rush, I'm not in a rush. But I really like this topic of coaching.
Mhm.
Think about this frequently. And good morning, Mom. Well, good morning. I love you. Coaching or any involvement in sports. Um, I started coaching her first year of soccer, which really glad I did. Um, However, as you might know, even if you feel like you're good in a sport, coaching 6-year-olds in it is wildly different than the
Mhm.
actual event. Um, and that was always something that I envisioned myself doing, was coaching. and I'm glad I did that. I think that was like one of my successes, I think. And I'm not meaning this as I don't want this to come across as like a I don't know, not an insult, but it's really hard to imagine like putting your kid into a sport and not expecting to be involved somehow. You know, like my first baseball team, my dad was my coach, and
Yeah.
my first, my brother Ryan, you know Ryan, my brother Ryan.
Mm,
So, his
can't recall that guy.
yeah. So my dad was his soccer coach when he got into I think third or fourth grade. I think my dad knew nothing about soccer, and I remember him coming home with a stack of library books on soccer, and that team ended up being amazing.
Yeah.
And my mom didn't coach, but she became like the treasurer and liaison for the league we were in. And
Nice.
like she knew everybody. She knew all the coaches. She knew everybody's situation. I don't know everything about the job, but it's like there was that connection. We have a family friend whose dad doesn't coach, but he jumped in and managed like the web presence for the team. Like there's so many
Hmm.
ways to do it. Getting snacks, uh, making ribbons. Like Kristen made ribbons, like hair ribbons for both Junie and Kira's teams. Anything, like anything whatsoever. Rides, managing the parent chat. So many things you can do to get involved.
Yeah.
So in any capacity, just be a connection for them. So when a kid looks back at it, their parent was there for doing whatever, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge difference between signing them up for something and then dropping them off and like going and doing something else. Like like I said, it's a huge difference for just being there. Like it's with everything with kids,
Yeah.
being there. If you're there in some sort of capacity, coaching, assistant coaching, just watching from the sidelines, that's the only way you're going to be there for that moment when they do something and they run to you and they say, "Mom, Dad, did you see that?" And it's a lot easier if you sign yourself up for coach and you're there. It I'm it's hard, it's difficult. It's, this, as you probably know from the 6-year-olds, that's not coaching, that's herding cats. Um
Very true.
that's about doing your best to keep their eyes on the ball and entertained and not, sitting on the grass, playing with mud or, and then dealing with this person kicked me, this hurts, the crying, the whatever's going to happen. But it's more about, those moments when a kid, even any kid, like I remember so many moments where someone else's kid got a goal or got a good hit or something like that, and just watching the joy in that kid's face and being able to celebrate with that kid. So like when I walk through um the old town we lived in, like there are grown girls now in high school and middle school that I see in line at the ice cream shop, and I'm like, I taught that girl, like I remember this moment, like, and we see each other and we say hi, and it like that just happened to me a couple months ago, and it's just really cool just being a part of that little tiny part of that. So highly
Yeah.
recommend it.
Yeah. Good memories.
Good topic, bro. Fit. Now go sign up to be coach of your kids' soccer team.
Yeah. Do T-ball. If anybody like, if you want to like the T-ball is, in my experience, the most testing ability of your patience with kids.
Yeah, because half of them are just standing there doing nothing.
Yeah, it's actually like really not the best sport for kids.
No,
Um,
baseball is not the best sport. Period.
yeah, so we had a coach. Her name was Mariah, and we had the only team in the league that had girls on it, and she has 3 boys, and uh, I end up like loving her boys. They are like peak boy, hilarious. And
Do
the
they
amount.
remind you of your family?
No, they didn't. Like they are insane in the best way.
Okay.
Maybe she's listening, maybe she's not. But the amount of patience that I imagining her and her husband to have, because her husband was also there, which was great too. It was like the whole family. That's an entire family event for them. But I was like, man, how do they do that with those boys? It's like they are their dials on 12 the entire time. Um, and it doesn't matter where the ball went on the field, everybody would run to it. And
Yeah.
it's like, is it even worth teaching the basics of baseball? Like the worst thing is for a kid is to probably like see the one thing that's moving on the field, and you're telling them, nope, you can't get it. You can't get it because you're on the wrong side of
Stay in your quadrant.
uh, but do it. Yeah. Coach, whatever it is, coach your kids, do something. At the
Yeah.
very least, show up to practice and just sit and watch. How long have we done this for? Are you talking about the show or parenting? Parenting?
I'm a 17-year veteran of parenting. The show has been running for, I don't know, 2 years now.
About 2 years.
We're on episode 422. The numbers are kind of a little jumbled. Ryan used to do it 7 days a week, and he got burnt out. And now we're all just really curious if he exists or
Yeah.
if he's just completely become AI.
Uh, well, Blaze has become AI.
Yes, we know
Blaze,
that.
Blaze sent us a little Sora video of him at the gym. He gained 50 pounds of muscle in 1 month. Do you know that?
Yeah, and he starred in a bunch of action films.
Oh
He
man,
is the pizza ninja.
yeah. Deepest, you called me on a day off, and I think we could go into this for a while. What are our motives with this? Man, that could go multiple directions today. Dom, how much time do you have today?
You want me to just drop mine? Mine's really quick and simple.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
just here for the conversation. Like I know there could be a bigger picture. I know maybe there will be someday, but I'm just here for this little 30 to 45-minute session and a 10% chance Monday nights for a longer one. Um, I think of this a little bit like therapy. I think of this a little bit like group therapy, a bunch of dads, moms, uh, single young people getting together and talking. We typically have a topic of the day, that's the reading. But as you've seen in every show, we go wherever and whenever. This gets my brain firing in the morning. It's super early. It's one of the first things I do every morning. And yeah, and to answer your newest question, absolutely not. I do not want this show to blow up. I could not handle, hundreds of people talking to me at once. Um, I think that would be the moment that I'm like, it's all yours, Jason.
Yeah, I go back and forth. I go back and forth on that. My motives are very similar to yours. I'm surrounded by middle schoolers all day. Most of my conversations are with 11 to 14-year-olds. And besides that, the only other adult I talk to is Kristen. And me and Kristen, I would say, don't get a lot of chances to be with each other at our best.
Mm,
Because I'm tired, she's tired from her job, and then most of our time after our jobs is handling our kids, and it's all great. Like I enjoy everything, and it's always hard Oh no, I shouldn't say that. It's not always hard, but it's not always simple or easy.
Yeah.
And as an adult, and I think you'll probably get to know this, especially as you move into your first new job here, is that every day you lose just a little, like 1% of the time where you can focus on yourself. And one of the hard lessons that I learned not until my mid to late 30s is having a period of time for you in the day is really important. So
Set
my
aside the time.
say it again.
Set aside the time for yourself. Like
Yeah.
make it a priority. And for me and you, and a lot of people like Brofit, it's do it first thing in the day because you can't, even if that means go to sleep earlier and wake up earlier, because once everyone else wakes up, wife, kids, jobs, the banks, then it's like it feels like everybody's clawing at you.
Yeah, you are paying your energy, whether that energy is your money or your physical energy.
Mhm.
It's like you are now losing, not really losing. I mean, anything positive or negative happen in the day. But the point is like, fill your cup first. Put your oxygen mask on first before you start
Yeah.
helping other people. And like one of the things that I wish I had started much earlier, maybe even in my, early 20s or late teens, is start to develop that, you know, going to bed at a good time, waking up, and just like, even if it's just like going outside and standing and staring at the sun, just starting that one day with a little bit of quiet. Um,
Mhm.
Most of my adult life was staying up late because that was the only time I had. And for a time it worked until it didn't, where I struggled with like sleep and energy. And that would affect how I treated um, and interacted with Kristen until I was like, okay, I'll just start going to bed earlier. And then now I have at least an hour every morning where I don't have to do anything, or you can do the things that you want to do without anybody clawing that energy away from you.
Yeah.
I do not. Sometimes I go back and forth with how I want the show to go. I mostly, like 99% of it is I really value my time with Dom here, and I also go back and forth between, hey, it'd be really cool if we got to like share this habit or the things we talk about with the people, with other interested people. So I'll go through short spurts of social media management with this. I started a Facebook page for this, but I haven't checked it in like 2 or 3 weeks, just as like a
Yeah.
sharing platform.
I I see I see value in what you and I do. Definitely for you and I. I know for a fact that people like Dylan and David and Brofit like all get value out of it too. That's why they consistently come back to us and listen to us. Um, could the wider world and audience get value from it as well? Yes, but that's not like it wouldn't be my goal to try to like push and do that. Like I feel there's plenty of people having these conversations and doing the same thing on their own podcasts and channels. This works for us at this size. Like I can manage it. I mean I could barely manage the back end. The I would love to. No, we just barely met, Jason and I, about a year ago. So
We've never even seen each other in person.
yeah, we've never met in real life.
But Dom is the one adult that I talk to most days.
Same, like same. And so I basically we know each other through an IP called V Friends. It's actually his brother that's into it, and his brother started the show, Ryan. We talk about him all the time. And then Ryan went off to do other things, and Jason and I kind of took over. Also, a lot of us have met each other's family. Yeah. So, like, Jason's met Brofit, and I've met Brofit, but Jason and I haven't met together. So, we have met each other. We are friends, but no, all this kind of started in the last 2 years. 2 to 4 years ago, none of us in this room knew each other, short of Jason and his mom and dad.
Sorry, what I missed. I missed that last line. What did you say?
I should. None of us in this room have ever, like 4 years ago, none of us knew each other, short of you, your mom, and your brother. Like you guys obviously knew each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 4 years ago, I would say I was a different person 4 years ago, and
Yeah,
you're gonna be a completely different person in 5 years, you know?
yeah.
Uh, yeah, my family, my children, my wife have met, Brian's wife and children. That was a really awesome real life connection. Me and Ryan and Brian got to work out in the Arizona heat together, shirtless with 5-inch inseam shorts together in a
I
little.
still, I still randomly wake up in the night and that image is in my mind. Good for
Me
you.
too. Yeah, me too. I was just so much skin and sweat. Woo! Getting the
In,
getting the
in,
papers again. Woo! Uh, Lifestyle retreat in Norway.
that would be
You
crazy.
tell more.
That would be wild.
Yeah, hopefully we're shirtless in Norway.
All right. That was a fun one.
That
48
was
minutes. It was good stuff.
that was almost like a Dad's After Dark.
Hmm.
What's this?
Yeah.
Dad's Before Dark?
Well, it's still dark where I am. I mean, the sun might be coming up. There's no windows in this garage.
We're coming
This
up to the
one,
time of the year where, the sun shining in my eyes is my little alarm to get off the screen,
yeah,
get my
that's
day.
fun.
But
Uh, Thank you again, everybody, for coming. Deepest, always a pleasure to have you. You bring the questions, man. You run the chat sometimes. So thank you for stopping in. Uh, Brofit, yeah, let's hear more about it, dude. Like, I don't know. Committing to stuff like that is really hard for me. Um, my wife and my
I
friend
would
group
I would
really
do
control my vacation days.
I would do that. I think once in a while, a really intense session on those things, health, fitness, hiking, biking. I think that's worth it, even if
I
it.
imagine myself going to that and you, Ryan, Brofit, and a bunch of people like just swolling it out, and then me in the fetal position crying in the corner after like day one of leg day with Brofit. And I'm just like, the next like 6 days, I can't even fucking walk. I can't sit down. It hurts to get up and off the toilet. So I'm gonna say no thanks, pass to that.
If you can still walk after that, you're not doing it right.
No, thank you, dude. That's not my vibe. But
Yeah.
I'll go to
Um,
hey, here's what I'll do. I'll go with you guys and I'll do all the videoing and all the drinking.
we'll do that too. That's what
And I
makes it
definitely
good.
will climb a mountain that has rebar sticking out of it. Like that's my vibe for sure.
Yeah.
But I ain't doing no leg day. That's
Um, I
never happening.
I would love to have Deepest on one day, just to talk to somebody in the stages that we've already passed, just to
Yeah.
get a little update on what it's like.
It's always been a thought on my mind, like with
Yeah.
my own kids, is like if there's any way for me to give them this wisdom that I have without sounding like a dad and getting ignored. I think like we always say when you're at this age, and I'm sure it's every age, I wish I knew this back then. It would have really changed me. But it's like I was kind of thinking about that. And it's like, would my 19-year-old brain really been able to accept this information? Um, and would it actually have changed me? Or what would have undone in my life? I just think that you have to go through what you have to go through. And yeah, there's probably some things that you could take in and maybe it would change 1%, but it's hard to say. And if we have any impact on deepest at 19, I'd love to know that. I'd love that. I love that thought. We'll keep that thought.
Yeah, we'll put it in the back pocket.
check in with him in 20 years and see how he's doing.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go. Great
Yes,
talking with
sir.
you, as always.
It is great. Have a great weekend, everybody. There is a 0.5% chance we do a show on the weekend, but there's 100% chance we do on Monday. Monday is Columbus Day, but I am working, so I will be here. I'm not taking that day off.
I am off. I am off. And I will be here celebrating.
All right. Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you again for showing up. Appreciate you guys.
See you guys. Enjoy the day.
Later, buddy.